So welcome to another Technique Tuesday. This is going to be focusing on this embossing folder and stencil pack in our current catalog. This is the butterfly slimlines. They're super fun to play with. We're going to be working with the embossing folder first and then working into the stencils. We're going to focus on the deboss side. Okay, so that's where the depression is. And I'm going to bring in peacock feathers. I'm liking peacock feathers a lot. And I just have my round brush. Well, it's not a brush, but my round foam. And I'm just going around the butterflies. Now around the little butterflies, you can be a bit more aggressive. Although that one I think I actually got. These bigger guys, we're going to have to go back through anyway and clean things up with I just use my chamois. Now you can choose to use a water spritz afterwards, like we've been talking about. I've shown you an example of water spritzing. It just makes the color really vibrant, but it also creates like this water droplet thing too. Okay, so I really don't want all of this teal inside the butterflies, so I'm just going to take my chamois and go around the debossing. And it kind of keeps you in line too because it's indented, right? And you can always come back through with your peacock feathers or whatever ink you're using. And no, I have not tried this with our inks. When I do this technique, I typically use the oxides because they're the pigment and dye ink mixture, and they seem to do a bit better with this technique. I think I've tried ours in the past, but it's been so long that I don't really remember the effect of it, except the fact that I didn't like it because I don't use it. So I can leave it like this. Let me go back through with this little butterfly here. Clean this one up. I can leave it like this and put my paper in here so that it's inked, or I can spritz it. So since I've been using it, the embossing folders, so much without spritzing it, let's spritz it and we'll see what the difference is. I have one that isn't spritzed already, so we have a comparison. Okay, so I am just going to turn this sideways because I usually spritz this way and I don't really want to get this side. So I lay that there. I'm just going to activate all that color. Now I did spritz inside the butterflies, so if you don't like that, you can come back through and maybe we'll just do a couple butterflies where they are spritzed and a couple where they're not. Maybe these two big guys will unspritz by dabbing for the most part. Okay, and then this way we can see the difference. Again, I'm going to put this on the clean side. This is a slimline, so it's 3.5 by 8.5. Once you flip this over, don't move it, especially since it's spritzed. Okay, I'm going to run this through the machine. I'll be right back. Okay, because we do have water on it, it's going to be quite wet. And water paper watercolor paper works really well with this technique if you spritz it. So there's the spritzed look. Again, I'm not huge on the spritzed. A lot of people say, oh, you must spritz it. I'm not sold on it. I kind of like it without. So here's with, here's without spritz. This is just a really faint, I don't even know if you can even tell that that's even colored, to be honest. Let's see if I can find a white piece of paper for contrast. Yeah, it's super light. I had a really light touch on this one anyway. But since it is super light, we're going to use the stencils on it so that you guys can see the effects of the stencils. And for those, I'm going to use my brushes. Okay, I have 3 brushes. I think right now they're currently sold out or out of stock, but I love my brushes. I wouldn't trade them for the world. Okay, I want washi tape, which actually I think is in here. You can use Scotch tape too. Good thing about Distress Oxides is they come off of things really well. You can always have your craft mat below, right? But I'm just going to line this up best as I can. I'm going to cut a nice strip of this washi tape. So I can get 4 more strips. Or 4 strips out of this. Okay. So I have 4 strips. That one's pretty close. I have it pretty well lined up right now. So I'm just going to tape the corners. This is like perfectly slimline size. So it works pretty well, but you just have to know that it's like perfectly slimline size. I think I'm going to do purple wings. So I'm going to use the Seedless Preserve. These don't have any color on them, just so you guys can see. It's not leaving a mark. It's just dyed. Okay, so this I used, I think, archival black on, and so it's like permanently dyed. This one comes out still if I really try. This one, I gotta soften this one back up. Whoop, you guys are falling. Still nothing. My hands are dyed, but not the brushes. They're just stained. That's what I meant to say. They're stained. So I'm just going to use my brushes. I'm going to go through and I'm just going to ink these little butterflies up. I use the bigger stencil first, so the one that has the most coverage, right, which is the butterfly, the wing of it. And then I'll put the design on top. And this is called double stenciling, and you can do this with any stencils really. And I'll show you that later too. But so there's the butterflies. Let's get a little bit. Maybe we'll do some deeper color outboard. Just play around with it. See which way you like it. You can always use our inks too on this one. Again, I'm going to trim some washi tape, assuming I know where I put it. Gosh, it blends in. Okay, here's my washi tape. Again, I'm going to trim a big swath of it and then trim it down to 4 little pieces. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, I'm going to line this up to where the wings are fairly well matched in there. The one that I look at the most is the ones with the most detail, and that's the inside too. They don't match up quite perfectly with each other, so just move it around a little bit until you like it. Now I'm going to use one of my other favorite colors, Chip Sapphire. So start light on the big wings until I'm quite dyed today. And then go dark with the little ones. Okay, so because to go light on the last layer is going to be pretty difficult to do. You could even do two-tone. You could do hour inks on these. And you could do like mulberry for the wing, the big wing, and grape for the inside. You could do a green butterfly. And see, these guys aren't patterned. So it doesn't matter if I go over them because there's no pattern there to fill in. So even if they're inked, I want to get this guy though. Even if they're inked here or not inked, it doesn't matter. Because it's actually going on the stencil. Okay, I think that's pretty well inked. Now the brushes are really nice because they get into all those little crevices rather than these domed foams. They don't get into those crevices as well. So just be aware of that. I'm going to peel both of these off because it doesn't matter. There's both stencils. And there are my butterflies. I do have a green background. You can't tell. It's just, you can't tell. Really, you see a green smudge here maybe. That's it. But off screen I can tell that I have a greenish background. It's the peacock feathers. And what I can do is I can still come through and I can make it a little bit bolder if I would like. Especially since I use such bold colors on the butterflies. Now if I use like something like, I don't know, tattered rose, I would not be doing this again. Because tattered rose would show everything, right? Even pumice stone is pretty faint. And I'm just going to darken this up. Even though I use this on the embossing folder, the butterflies don't do as well with those techniques. And I think it's because they're not as detailed and they're so big. It's so easy to get in them that really it's just so difficult to really use the distress oxides during the embossing portion. Maybe we'll do some darker spots. Make it really shine through a little bit. Okay. Remember that the foams show circles a bit more than the brushes, so. Maybe one up top. Okay, there we go. So it's a little bit splotchy, but it's kind of fun, playful. Butterflies are beautiful. This set is amazing. If you haven't tried it out or tried any of the duo sets where you have the embossing folder with the stencils, I highly recommend them. They are so much fun. So thank you for joining me today, and hope you guys have a great day.